It amazes me that a conspiracy theorist, somebody who questions the official story, would, see that the media lies and that the medical industry lies and that the government lies. And maybe they're starting to see that the education system lies, but so few of them. If we could get every person who now questions the official narrative to understand that science also lies, and they've been lying to you about when the universe happened and how it happened, it would be such a huge win for what we're doing, because the nonsense that they're peddling as science is no different to me than the nonsense they're peddling as medicine, and the nonsense that they're peddling as a policy or information. It's the same idea, okay? This chicken and the egg video. I got to start with the chicken and the egg video, and then I'm going to go to the serious discussion, because it's all the same. It fits into the same vein, in my opinion. So, I should have titled this chicken and the egg. I didn't know I was going to start with this, but the question, the age-old question, the chicken and the egg, which came first? Okay. Before I just ask you to answer that question, because then we're going to get a bunch of chat, and I do want that as well, I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to do a thought experiment. I'm a big believer in a thought experiment. What a thought experiment is it's in your brain. You run through the variables through a, how do we call this? Through a, potentiality algorithm in your brain, a viability algorithm. You run through it in your head. Like if I said, do a thought experiment with me, okay? I'm going to step out in my yard, and I'm going to jump onto my house. Okay, it's about a 25. I'm going to jump onto my house. Okay, you guys with me? Everybody would go, no, I'm not with you. I can't. How did you jump up there? You can't just jump on your house, gravity and such. So you wouldn't buy that, right? Your brain you would run it through your experience of your life, the things that you've seen, your understanding of the mechanism of this universe, and you say that doesn't work, right? So then maybe you could go like, did you have ropes attached to you? Did you have a jetpack? You would come up with it. Thought experiments are very important. I know that was kind of random, but I'm going to ask you the question about the chicken and the egg, and I want you to imagine that potentially that one of those two things happened. An egg showed up or a chicken showed up. Or, if you want to believe the scientific narrative, then they've proven through biologic evolution, through the study of this, that they've come up with the idea of how it happened without either. They actually teach that it was, they believe that the egg came first, okay, and that later the chicken came. And they teach it very matter-of-factly. Very matter-of-factly. They say, we've proven it. We figured it out, okay? So, again, thought experiment in your brain, and the options, there's three options. Chicken, egg, or through a series of evolutionary mutations, okay? Like incremental, some die, some live. The third option being through some sort of evolutionary paradigm. That the version of what Darwin teaches, that it happened by chance, okay? So those are your options. Thought experiment, we're going to close our eyes for a second. We're going to imagine that there wasn't a chicken, there wasn't an egg. Did the chicken come first? Did the egg come first? Or did the evolutionary, they didn't have eggs, the babies died, and then somehow the egg kind of started happening, and then the mechanism of laying the egg. So think about this, and give me your answer, please. Chicken, egg, or the evolutionary process? I'm going to drink a bubbly. Ironic, great answer. Adam and Eve were created, so chicken came first. Exactly, right? Adam and Eve weren't a baby at this point. Biblically speaking, that's the direction we go. Chicken, good. Hello, Allison. Love you. Sorry, I started to look a little bit through your messages. I'll get through it. Allison, the question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Or do you believe in the evolutionary idea? Chicken. Good answer. I mean, they're all good answers, maybe. Colonel Sanders, chicken, because Adam wasn't a baby. Exactly. Love that. When God made the law to not eat certain foods after Jesus, did that change or no? It's not at all the question, Jackie. That's another conversation. Hi, Bubbly. Eggs got scrambled. Okay. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? This show has the option. No, it was a good, clear question. It's just going to take me a long time. I guess the answer I would say is that when God said not to eat things, that was for our good. Okay, the Torah law is for our good. Pig isn't good. I'm not sure why baby not with the mother, but you just gotta trust that it's for your good, and try and follow the rules. That's what I suggest. But there's also things that teach. That's again, it's a whole other conversation. Okay, you guys ready for this? Would a chicken be a dinosaur? Yes, science believes. They believe that dinosaurs turned into chickens. Yeah. Yeah, that's what science teaches. But you had a T-Rex. It was like, I'm too big, and I have stupid little wing-a-ding-a-ling arms, so I'm going to evolve into a chicken and then lay eggs in my backyard, because that totally makes sense. Oh, this is so much better as a chicken. I can just cruise around and lay eggs for the humans, and I don't have to be a big stupid dinosaur anymore. There's a really cool idea that the small arms of a T-Rex are actually because it was wings, and the T-Rex was a dragon, which I'm totally in on. Yep. What if they were wings? Chicken arms are little. Crazy, right? Dragon. Yeah, genetically modified, too close to human, toxin-filled. A lot of reasons. Trust God. Just believe God. Do what it says. Okay. You ready for this? If you guys don't get triggered on this, I don't know how, it's going to be hard for me to make it through this, but it very much segues into the discussion that we're going to have in a minute here about Sirius, because it's important.
What is the universe made of? What happened before the universe?
Science loves talking about how they figured this out. Okay? Here we go. Trigger alert, trigger alert, trigger alert. VOR's already triggered. He hasn't even hit play yet.
What is the universe made of? What happened before the universe? How can we be sure we exist in the real world and not inside a computer simulation? Science has long been asking difficult questions, exploring the furthest depths of the cosmos and probing the tiniest bits of matter for the answers. Yet no question is more important or more confounding to all humanity than the classic conundrum. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? At first view, the question is a logic circle, meaning that it has no real answer because one perpetually comes before the other, which perpetually comes before that which came before it. Did we lose you there? It's like this. They both came.
Okay. Timeout. I'm going to need about 6 timeouts here. Did you lose me there? Super Science Mind? Did you lose me? Nope. I followed. I followed that you believe that one didn't come before the other because of your worldview. Because you refuse to believe that God made a chicken. Okay? I follow you. You're bigoted against God. You're discriminating against God. And your worldview is that there can't have been a God. I'm following you, okay? Does he really think that's that hard? He thinks he's so smart that it's hard for him to think that that idea of one begets the other, begets the other, begets the other, and that's hard to get, okay? Just wait. It just gets worse and worse and worse. No, I'm following you so far, Science Man. I'm following you, Mr. Science Man. Okay,
Of the cosmos and probing the tiniest bits of matter for the answers. Yet no question is more important or more confounding to all humanity than the classic conundrum. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? At first view, the question is a logic circle, meaning that it has no real answer because one perpetually comes before the other, which perpetually comes before that which came before it. Did we lose you there?
Nope.
It's like this. They both came before each other.
Oh.
Because a chicken came from an egg, which came from a chicken, which came from an egg,
Okay,
etc., etc.
Thanks for clearing that up.
It's the kind of question with no real answer, and one that might send the very first militarized AI into a logical conniption fit.
Really? It's the kind of Okay, I'm all fired up. I'm feeling better, praise God, and I'm pissed off. It's the kind of question that has no answer. This is really where this person's going. They're framing their argument with, I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe that a chicken showed up or an egg. Are you kidding me? It's the kind of question that has no answer. There's no way we could understand this. Because in my worldview, not mine, theirs, I have omitted the potentiality of a designing factor. Because as the priests of the religion of science, we exclude from all potentialities the idea that somebody or something made this chicken. So because of that, we refuse the truth. You will never get the right answer if you refuse the truth. If you have a formula and one part of your formula is incorrect, sit there all day with your stupid calculator and you're never, ever, 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 ever going to get the right answer. So what he just said in his blind hubris is, we refuse to search for the truth because we refuse the idea of a creating intellect as a super intellect as the reason that this happened. Okay? So, I mean, already immediately dismissed. I'm gone. This guy, nothing they could say probably at this point to salvage this. Oh, but don't worry. Just get started. This is just getting started. Just
kill us all. Evolution, though, does tell us that one of these things had to, in fact, come before the other. And if we boil a question down to its most basic elements, that is, a chicken and an egg, then it's obvious that the egg came before the chicken. Life first evolved on Earth 2 billion years ago, but for about 1.5 billion of those years, life remained in the single and multicellular stage, not getting much more complex than, say, amoebas. The first things we would recognize as true animals were sponges and jellyfish, which arose between 500 million and 600 million years ago. And these were likely not individual animals, but rather colonies of smaller organisms, such as a clonal colony, or masses of simple organisms all having a single parent that they're cloned from. Then, suddenly, for a reason science is still unclear on, animal life exploded in complexity, and we get the Cambrian Explosion, which brought with it all the major animal phyla of today. Animals became individuals, grew tissues, appendages, and to be honest, evolution got downright weird with it. But that's what happens in a new environment with life. Evolution has all kinds of room to expand until by natural selection, the evolutionary paths an animal can take get narrowed down. That's the reason we don't have 6 arms, and large land animals all have 4 limbs. 4 turned out to be the optimal number, and any 3 or 6 armed descendants we may have had got outcompeted by 4-limb animals. But the fun thing about evolution is that it's going to be different everywhere you go, so there could very well be a planet with conditions that for some reason prefer 6-armed life. At some point though, animals need to...
I can't believe I let it play that long. I can't believe I let it play that long. Does anybody see the problem with this? Allison, we're going to talk about that. I don't have time for that right now. It starts off by saying evolution teaches us. Okay? As an intelligent design person, if I say God did this, I'm immediately dismissed. You cannot take me seriously because I said God did it, okay? These priests of their religion, though, can easily just say evolution did it. They're not going to give a single spoiler. There isn't a single shred of scientific evidence in this whole creation story. Hi, Haley. There's not a single shred of scientific evidence in this entire piece. I've watched it 40 times now. I want to go by piece what they say. Evolution teaches us. Okay? Then he goes on to say that the Cambrian Explosion happened, which I'm going to do videos on. If you guys don't know the Cambrian Explosion, there was basically no life and then all life like that. It just happened. It just happened. 0 to 100. And of course they say, we don't know how this happened. Science doesn't know how this happened, but we can trust evolution to explain this. And then he goes on to this whole thing about evolution decided that it was 4 limbs made the most sense because 4-limbed animals make more sense than 3-limbed animals and 6-limbed animals, so they died off. But the fun thing about evolution is that in another place, you might have 6-limbed. You're going to tell me that evolution on the Earth is different than in another planet? That evolution is this ambiguous wizard that runs around and makes different rules depending on the planet it's on? That's what you're going to tell me. On some planets, they could be 6-armed, 6-legged animals. How does that work? Evolution got fun with it, it says. It says, evolution got fun with it. Evolution is funny. Evolution does what it wants to. Okay? Imagine every time they said evolution, you actually just said God. God did. God said. God said. But you can't, right? Evolution is their God. People, evolution is their God. That is, they know that there has to be a creating force. There has to be a creating force. They believe that evolution is the creating force. Allison, we're going to have this conversation. Can't have it right now. I mean, I can. You can say whatever you want to, but I can't disagree with you anymore. I've agreed with everything you've said. There's not a single line in the Torah. I guess I'll have the discussion. There's not a single line in the Torah that says that we started with monkeys. Yeah, we're going to have this discussion, Allison, in love. Tell me where in the Torah it says that Yahweh made monkeys in the garden. Go ahead and tell me that, because you know Torah better than I do. Where does it say in the Torah that God made monkeys 13.8 billion years ago? Because I've read the Torah, and it says that he made Adam and Eve in the garden, and it was about 6,000 years ago. So why, as someone who fears God and believes in Torah, are you punting on what the Torah says and instead choosing to believe what the liars, the anti-Israel, anti-God liars that lie about everything are telling you about science? Why in the world would you believe the lies of the media, the God-hating, straight from hell lies about this creation? Why would you possibly believe them on this case? Believe the Bible or don't. You don't concede. You don't concede. Oh, Adam and Eve were actually just monkeys. Oh, it was 13. You don't. Come on. Sister, you know this. They're lying. This whole thing I'm showing you is a load of shit. An absolute load of nonsensical fairy tale bullshit. Okay? This has nothing to do with what actually happened. Nothing. So, if you have any kind of actual science, Allison, any kind of actual science that says, this is why I believe in evolution, this is where, even better than science, this is where the Torah talks about evolution, then I'd love to hear it. But please, don't just spit out 13.8 billion years, evolution, the same shit that the media says. Please don't say that. Because we don't buy that. We don't buy that here. We believe in God. We believe in the Torah. We believe in the God that wrote the Torah. Okay, then I missed it. All I keep saying is God is the designer of evolution, 13.8 billion. That's what I keep seeing, so I apologize. I'll go back and see it. You just can't. You can't believe this. Look, this is the thing. You can't believe in both. And this is the problem that I have with this. Christians do the same thing, Allison. It's called God of the gaps. It's called day-age theory, okay? It's called trusting science and not the Bible. And they do it all the time. They do it all the time. And you can't do it. You can't. God made Adam and Eve in the garden, or he didn't. And if he didn't, we don't need to believe it. We don't need to believe the Bible at all. Okay. I'm going to go back and read what you said. I'm going to read back and see what you said. Evolution does not conflict with creation. I totally disagree. I couldn't disagree more. What else did you say? Amoeba jellyfish. Okay. I just want to catch up on this. Okay, Allison, what I read is you said amoeba jellyfish, and then you said evolution does not conflict with creation. And then you said, I don't mean that we came from monkeys. Please know humans came day 6 separate. Okay, so wait, so you believe, so if I'm getting this right, you believe that God made Adam and Eve in the garden, but the rest of evolution happened? I really want to know this. I get that I get fired up. I think you got to know that about me. I'm fired up. Are you saying that everything else evolved except for man? God made Adam and Eve, but he didn't make the other animals? Because I've read it too. You know what? Let's read it. Mom! Bible! I need my Bible. It's like meatloaf. I don't know if evolution was my God until God saved me. Amen. Thank you. Each day is not our 24 day. Each day was millions of years. Where's that in the Torah, Allison? Allison, sister, I love you. Where is that in the book? Where in the Bible does it say that it's not 24-hour days, it was millions of years? Where does it say that? Where does it say that? Evolution does conflict with the Bible, 100%. Chloe is not going to be bringing me the Bible. We're going to read the Bible. Pause. I gotta find it. I got serious beef with this. Let us proclaim the mystery of faith. The Word of God. I've been to Catholic Mass. Of course, I still love you, Lulu. All right, here we go. Ready? Thank you, Father God, for your Word. This is the biggest mystery, and we want to understand it. So, Lord God, please help us to understand this. Fill us with your Holy Spirit. We know that Satan knows the Word and loves to twist your Word. We know this because in the garden, the Satan said, did God really say? He likes to question your word. So, Lord God, we ask for wisdom. Fill us with the Holy Spirit to understand your word, Lord God. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And the evening and the morning were the first day. No millions of years. Nope. Evening and morning. And why? Why? Why wouldn't he just say that? Why wouldn't he just say millions of, why wouldn't God just say it was millions and millions and millions and billions of years ago? Billions of years ago. And God really just kind of, whatever. Something happened. Why would he tell you a story and then tell you to reinterpret it in like a way that doesn't, because anyone, I don't mean to be specific to Allison in this, but anyone who is saying this is adhering, is trying to marry what the world says, what science says, and what the Bible says. I cannot understand the Torah. I disagree. Okay, then I'm asking you, Allison. I'm asking you. It really bums me out that we're fighting over this. But I want to know, tell me, since I don't understand Torah, explain to me what I'm missing at the surface value. Explain to me what I'm missing. God called the light day and the darkness he called night. And God said, let there be firmament. And God called the firmament heaven. Let the waters be divided. Let the earth bring forth grass. Let the earth bring forth grass. And the evening. Okay, here's a good one. Do you think plants evolved? Where do you draw the line? Because if you actually believe science and you listen to science, there wasn't trees, Allison, at the beginning. There wasn't plants in the beginning. There wasn't any of that. And they evolved. So, did the plants evolve? Or did God make the plants? That's my question. That's my question, Allison. It says here that God made and let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself. Did God make trees? Did he make plants? Or did they evolve into place? That's my question. I'll wait for an answer. Okay, next question. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. So do you believe that the sun exploded and that, did you know what science teaches about the moon? Science teaches that the moon was a planet that crashed into the earth and it tore the earth apart and spun it. And the moon then evolved into a perfect sphere and then got reflective dust somehow and then started this process. So here's my question to you, Allison. Did God create the sun and the moon and the sky like they are? Or do you believe science's version? Did a comet hit the earth and create the moon? Did God make the sun and the moon how they are, or did they also evolve? Evolve means changing. I'll define this. Was it made in the state that it's in, or was it made in a primordial state that changed over time into the version that you see now? Did God make the sun and the moon as you see it, or was it something else that changed form to become what it is now? That's my question. I hardly listen to science. If I did, and that's my point, Allison. Look, this is an intervention, sister. I love you. You can trust the book. Trust the book. The Bible isn't lying. The media is lying. The education system is lying. What you're doing, and I challenge you with this, you are fitting the Torah into their worldview. And I haven't been led to watch Gerald Schroeder stuff. Maybe this is why. I'd have probably dismissed him right away. If you take the book and you make it fit what they're telling you, you're conceding. You're forsaking the Torah. Don't change the words. The words are what they are. And I promise you this, that 2,000 years ago and 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, nobody was saying millions of years and monkeys, although I know you didn't say monkeys, but changing things. They weren't teaching that. They weren't teaching that. They were teaching that the things that we see were made like they are now, how God made them at the beginning. That's what they were teaching. I'm going to go back to it, Zoe. You don't need to, and it's the same thing. Look, Allison, the same group that taught you about 13.8 billion years is telling you that Palestine deserves Israel. Okay? Is telling you that the Israel is a problem in the world, some kind of problem, and it's okay that we genocide them or whatever. It's the same lying faction. They lie because they're of their father, the devil, which, I mean, if you don't believe in the devil, that probably explains part of that. But I'm telling you, you can trust the book. And God made the sun and the moon just like they are in the sky. And he made Adam and Eve just like they are. I'm going to continue. And God said, let the waters forth bring abundantly the moving creatures that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth. Allison, that means that when God made them, the birds could fly. Okay? Evolution doesn't teach that. It doesn't teach that. It teaches that something crawled out of the water and evolved over millions and millions of years and eventually took flight. Evolution teaches that nothing was built to fly, okay? It doesn't teach that there was a big bang and then primordial soup and lightning hitting stuff and then DNA happening and then birds all of a sudden. It was taking over slight successionary mutations that reproduced, and over time, flight happened. The Torah says that God created fowl that could fly. You want to read what else it says? And God created great whales. And God created great whales. Trust the book. The pseudoscience of evolution is absolute religion. It's idolatry. It is idolatry. Because they're telling you a totally different worldview. They're telling you that the world is God and that the world creates life and that the world made all of this, okay? That's telling you that. It's not telling you that God did it. God tells you that he made them. He made the sun and the moon and the plants and the seeds and the animals and the whales and Adam and Eve in the garden about 6,000 years ago. You got to believe it. They're lying to you. This is why I'm so fired up. I love you. You can't believe the lie. You have to believe the book. You have to. What they're telling you, and I'm going to go back to it, is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's a fairy tale. Okay, what did Chip say? First step in debating evolution is to set the goalposts for macro and microevolution. Okay, that's a good point. I wasn't necessarily intending to have the debate of what evolution is, but yes, of course, there is micro-adaptation, microevolution. We believe that God made the kinds, like the dog is a kind, and that through mostly breeding, also more sunlight, less sunlight, more oxygen, you can have slight changes that over a long amount of time can turn from Chihuahua to German Shepherd, but they're still dogs. So we believe that God made the specific species as they are, kinds, and that there was slight changes. We believe in change. Error correction software, a beautifully designed determination in life that allows you to adapt. We believe in adaptation, but we also believe that God made a whale in the ocean at the beginning, a couple days after the sun and the moon. And it had to be, Allison, because check this out. You ready for this? Allison, if you're still in here, let me make sure it didn't leave me. I don't know. I can't see who's in here. Okay. Time frame wise, right? And then I'm going to move on with what I was going to do. If on the first day, there was day and night at that point. So the firmament, God made the firmament in the evening, second day. Waters under the heaven gathered together, dry land appeared, let the earth bring forth grass. So the earth was created on day 3, right? Third day. So the trees and plants were created on day 3. Okay? So here's the problem. If it's millions of years, like what you said earlier, each day is millions of years, explain to me how God made all of the plants and all of the trees on day 3, and then millions of years later, on day For the next day, day 4, he made the sun and the moon. So how did all of the plants live for millions of years before the sun was created? It's just inconsistent. And we don't need to pledge allegiance to science. They've been lying. They've been lying. What did Sissy say? Yeah. Okay. So right, dogs are and never wolves. We probably wolves were first and they became dogs. Whatever it is. They're still dogs. Dogs, wolves, coyotes, same family. Okay. All right. You can't believe what the world says over what the Torah says. You have to believe the book. And the problem is, when they came out with this theory, they discredited the timeline of the Bible because everybody believes the world is 13.8 billion years old. And not everybody. And the Bible is like 7,000 years old. 6 to 10, if you want to get really generous. Okay. I digress. Can't. We'll have to have this discussion more later. I'm going to go back to my video.
Which came from an egg, etc., into eternity. It's the kind of question with no real answer, and one that might send the very first militarized AI into a logical conniption fit and kill us all. Evolution, though, does tell us that one of these things had to, in fact, come before the other, and...
Okay. Evolution tells us that one of these things have to come before the other. Okay? We're going to watch this whole video, and I want you to look for when evolution told us that one came before the other. Okay, I want to know where during this whole thing that down the road they proved it. Evolution tells us this, right? Play.
If we boil a question down to its most basic elements, that is, a chicken and an egg, then it's obvious that the egg came before the chicken. Life first evolved on Earth 2 billion years ago, but for about 1.5 billion of those years, life remained in the single and multicellular stage, not getting much more complex than, say, amoebas. The first things we would recognize as true animals were sponges and jellyfish, which arose between 500 million and 600 million years ago. And these were likely not individual animals, but rather colonies of smaller organisms, such as a clonal colony, or masses of simple organisms all having a single parent that they're cloned.
Okay, I gotta stop this really quick and just tell you guys how magicians work. Okay. The technique is called sleight of hand. And what you do is you get the person that you're doing the magic on to look at your right hand or your beautiful assistant while you pull off what isn't quite as impressive the second time you see it. When you see it the second time and you're actually watching the guy instead of the girl with the hat doing the flip or whatever, or like the rabbit in the hat, whatever it is, you look at it and you go, wow, I totally saw that. I didn't see it initially. Because I was too busy with the show. This is the show. Okay? He says, evolution tells us. And then he goes on and on and on about aliens and the Cambrian Explosion, which they have no answer for, and he even concedes this, and this and that, and thought experiments, and all these things, and they never actually answer it. They never even get close to answering it. There's no actual science here. So I want you to, as we go through this, keep in mind the magician and the sleight of hand. And then this Cambrian Explosion thing, you guys, is the death nail. I mean, DNA is the death nail for evolution. But the secondary death, like if it resurrected itself and they got it again, the Cambrian Explosion, they have no idea. China is actually very transparent that they're not sure about evolution because of the Cambrian Explosion. There is no life, then there's all life. And this guy's going to say it. He's going to marginalize it. He's going to say, we know that evolution teaches us this thing. 13 billion years ago, tried to prove us wrong. Something happened in the sea. Good luck trying to prove this wrong. And then he goes, but then the Cambrian Explosion happened, and we don't know what that was or why it happened. But evolution's really funny, and it's not without a sense of humor, because then, out of nowhere, it created all phyla. It created all phyla. Ligaments and tissues and wolves. We don't know. We don't know. But it all happened, and evolution's funny. Evolution. Can't trust it. Crazy. Watch this.
Then, suddenly, for a reason science is still unclear on, animal life exploded in complexity, and we get the Cambrian Explosion, which brought with it all the major animal phyla of today. Animals became individuals, grew tissues, appendages, and to be honest, evolution got downright weird with it. But that's what happens
And to be honest, evolution, their God, got downright weird with it. Just evolution. Evolution. You're such a ham. Such a ham. You just do these crazy things. You make wolves and birds in the same area, with the same exact resources and the same exact climate. You made a bird that flew, and you made a toad that jumped, and you made a coyote that howled. You're so silly. You're so funny, evolution. I just never know what to do with you. I just don't know what to do with you. You silly. But we trust you anyways, evolution. I mean, we totally believe you. Because, we have to, right? Because, the people told us that we had to believe it. Right? Because they have, the data. Right? They have the science. At the beginning of this video. It was evolution has taught us this. So, yeah, we're waiting for the science. You haven't told us the science yet. But, yeah, of course, evolution is silly, and everything you say is right because you have the science to back it up. They don't. They don't at all. They don't at all. They don't at all know. And this whole thing they go on now with the aliens and the 6 arms and the 3 arms and that they would be different on another planet. Listen to this nonsense.
New environment with life. Evolution has all kinds of room to expand until by natural selection, the evolutionary paths an animal can take get narrowed down. That's the reason we don't have 6 arms, and large land animals all have 4 limbs. 4 turned out to be the optimal number, and any 3 or 6 armed descendants we may have had got outcompeted by 4-limb animals. But the fun thing about evolution is that it's going to be different everywhere you go, so there could very well be a planet with conditions that for some reason prefer 6-armed life. At some point though, animals need to protect their young.
I mean, it's not even good. It's not even good. At some point, they create ligaments and tissues. And you know what? Evolution had this ways to expand and create all these things. And for some reason, 4 digits were the right thing to have here. You have 4 digits here, so we all have 4. We have 2 arms and 2 legs. How about giving God glory for his beautiful design? Because it would suck having 1 leg and 1 arm and 1 eye and 1 ear. And he saw that it was good. How about instead of giving credit to evolution and saying that it's a fucking chance, excuse my language, it's just a chance that you have 4 arms? It's a chance? How about you go, what a brilliant design by a brilliant creator. Being stereoscopic, bipedal, is brilliant. I can hear in stereo. I can hear in 3 dimensions. Because of the Doppler effect and my ears, I can hear how far away something is. Because I have 2 eyes, I can see how far away something is. Why don't I have 2 mouths? Evolution? You know what? I could have used 2 mouths so I could eat and talk at the same time, because I would love that. I would never stop talking. The only time I stop talking is when I'm eating. If I had 2 mouths, I could do both. You know why? Because you only need 1. Because you need 1 mouth. That's why you have 1. This isn't evolution's decision, okay? Evolution isn't deciding that it's nice to have hair. That it's nice to have colored eyeballs because it's attractive. That it's nice to have teeth to chew food with. That it's nice to have reproductive organs. You know why a man has nipples? This is science. You guys ready? Do you guys want to hear my science lesson for the night? Do you know why a man has nipples? Because we would look weird without nipples, and God is a good designer. That's why we have nipples. Because a nippleless chest would be weird. Okay? Evolution doesn't decide these things. God does, and he's a good designer. Okay. I continue. That's science, by the way. Okay. Here we go. This is where it gets good. This is about... Oh, yeah, it's totally racist. I love that. Yep. But it's actually not evolution that was racist. It was the racist, white, anti-Christian, anti-Jewish group that came up with evolution. Okay. What do you mean not true? 100% true. You like a man with no nipples? Who likes that? Nobody likes that. It'd be weird. Nippleless. Okay, here we go. We haven't even gotten to the egg thing. This is actually why we're an hour in. I'm like a minute 57 into this video. Thank you guys for your patience and mercy. Okay, check this out. Listen to the egg thing. You ready for this? Listen to how they say how eggs happened. And then I'm going to get into an article and we're going to rip this thing apart. And we haven't even gotten into Sirius yet, but here we go. Oh, play. Listen to how the eggs happened. It's quick, so be careful.
We don't have 6 arms, and large land animals all have 4 limbs. 4 turned out to be the optimal number, and any 3 or 6 armed descendants we may have had got outcompeted by 4-limb animals. But the fun thing about evolution is that it's going to be different everywhere you go, so there could very well be a planet with conditions that for some reason prefer 6-armed life. At some point though, animals needed to protect their young, and it turns out that ejecting masses of living tissue into the environment to fend for itself wasn't quite working out. So animals began to slowly evolve protective layers around their undeveloped young, and those who did flourished, while those who didn't died off. In case...
It turns out that ejecting living tissue was a bad idea. So the animal evolved a shell. Does anybody else have a problem with this? Can anyone see the problem with this idea that it turns out that ejecting living tissue, which meant reproducing, which means reproducing, which means that there's already a female and a male component, an ovary and a seed. So this is happening. They're having the animal sex. The baby's being born. They're ejecting out of what? Out of what? What are they ejecting it out of? Where is it coming out of? How did this happen? We missed the big point. And now the tissue is just on the ground and people are eating it because now I guess the parents had the baby and then died. They disappeared, whatever. So it evolved a shell? What evolved the shell? What evolved the shell? If you had the baby without the shell and it immediately fucking died, what evolved? The parents? Was it the mother and the father that evolved? Or was it the baby? Are you telling me that the baby was like, I'm dying over here. Wait, let me try this again. Let's try this again, okay? And when I come out, this time I'll try and develop an eggshell. Or was it the parents? Or was it the parents? Or you think it was the parents? You think it was the parents that were like, you know what, this isn't working. Think really hard. We got to develop an egg. No egg, that's going to die. No egg, we're in trouble. Maybe the next generation. Wait, there is no next generation because they're dead now. And that is assuming that it's just a shell. Do you guys think that it's just a shell? Do you think that it's just a protective cover? Because it's not. It's how the baby breathes. It's its respiration. It's how the baby gets nutrients. Because this baby isn't gestating inside of the mother, tied to an umbilical cord. The egg is the umbilical. The egg is the umbilical cord. Okay? The waste. The baby's waste. Guess where it's going? in the eggshell. The baby's nutrients and the entire, it's a life support system. It's a life support system. Okay? It's not a shell. It's the only way that baby is going to live is with the shell. Yes, I believe it was 24 hours. Yeah, a day and an evening. Yes, I do. I've got zero problems with that. I believe that. Yeah, I believe the book. Okay. I want to show you guys something here. And not only do I think it was 24 hours, Alice, I think it's really important that it was 24 hours. And I think it's an attack on Torah that it's not 24 hours. I think it's an attack on the command of Sabbath. I think it's an attack on Sabbath that it's not 24 hours. I think that the world wants to marginalize this, and I think that it marginalizes if Saturday is a 24-hour period. We talked in here the other day, it was a 25-hour period. Why does it matter yes, it's 24 hours. God did it in 6 literal days and rested on the 7th. And it's not because it's the only thing he could do. He could do it in 1 second. It's because he chose to show us his methodology. Work 6 days, rest on the 7th. Yes, 24-hour periods. Yes. And there's no reason to not believe that, in my opinion. Zero reason. Other than science. And I don't believe a word they say at this point in my life. A word. I bought ivermectin, and I'm going to drink it. I'm going to brush my teeth with it because I don't believe them. I'm going to brush my teeth with ivermectin just because of how much I don't believe the world system. And I'll let you know if I end up in the ER with it, okay? Okay. Oh yeah, I will. Watch me. I'll do it live on air. That'll be a good show. Next week, I'll brush my teeth with ivermectin. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. I got a buddy who was telling me about this, and he's detoxing, and all kind of worms are coming out, and like it's changing everything. This is the Australian Academy of Science. Irony, are you still here? This is the Australian Academy of Science, and this is which came first, the chicken or the egg. I know it's backwards, but I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole. You're just going to have to trust me what it says. It's that old riddle that sparked many arguments through the ages. Was it the chicken or the egg that came first? It's such a tricky question because you need a chicken to lay an egg, but chickens come from eggs. So what can it possibly mean? I can't figure this out. We need a chicken to lay an egg, but we can't just have a chicken show up because that would mean there's a God. I haven't brushed my teeth with it yet, but I'm thinking about it. We'll figure it out. I just hate the lying media. Okay. Thankfully, you ready for this? This is, by the way, you guys, this is why I've been having a hard time making this video in 1 minute. I'm 1010 in. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, and I can't do it. I can't make this a 1 minute video. I'm gonna make that video. I won't without you. You should make that video. We'll put take it out of the tube. Like really like cinematic. Like we're getting ready for a football game. So funny, Johnny Righteous. But that's good. That really made me laugh. Okay. You guys ready for this? Thankfully, there's no reason. Oh, time out. Nola, the new projector came today. We had to send the one back because it was wired. We got it. I might even show it to you. If Chloe would bring me it, I'll show it to you. We're going to do the Matrix. Maybe tomorrow. Soon. We got it all figured out. Thank you for that. Hopefully you have power now. Yeah, it's awesome. This one's wireless, so I don't have to keep plugging in this stuff. Okay, time out. I'm timing myself out. Thankfully, there's no need to keep brooding over this question forever. This is a riddle we can unscramble with the tools of science. Okay? More specifically, the principles of evolutionary biology. They figured it out. They figured it out, y'all. Right in this article. They figured it out. Okay? I read on. I'll go up a little bit here, just so we don't miss taking it out of context. Eggs are found throughout the animal kingdom. Technically speaking, an egg is simply the membrane-bound vessel inside which an embryo can grow and develop until it can survive on its own. Did you hear that? Technically speaking, because these are scientists, right? They speak very technically and very smart. Technically speaking, an egg is very simple. It's a simple membrane-bound vessel inside which an embryo can grow and develop until it can survive on its own. Very simple. Simple. Technically speaking, it's simple. Look, it's a circle. How simple is that? Look at it. A little circle. It's fine. But let's focus on the type of bird eggs we recognize today. These first came on the scene. Listen to this shit. These first came on the scene. Dude, I've shared this in Discord. Every one of these, it's like Mad Libs. It's like the line would be creation here, right? The line would be creation. God created this, and you just have to choose a different expletive, an adjective, a different way to explain this. And it's different, and every time it's different. Every time it's different. Every time it's like, evolution is funny. It happened. It just so happened. Sometimes it'll say created. Sometimes it'll say that evolution created. In this case, it says, these first eggs came on the scene. Okay, I'm in a press room now, okay? Excuse me, Saki, can you please elaborate on the technical aspects of came on the scene? I'll wait for the answer. Because you just said you figured this out. You said you figured it out. I'm going to need you, Australian Science Journal that has unscrambled this mystery. Just go ahead and elaborate on these first eggs came on the scene for me. How did that happen? Because there wasn't an egg. And then there was. So I would just like you to expound on that a little bit. Okay? Just blow that up a little bit. We're like at the 30,000 foot view. Let's get a little bit like 100 foot view. Maybe a little more granular. Okay? Just go ahead and tell me how you figured out how the eggs came on the scene. We are not currently in this session. I'll have to circle back. We're going to have to circle back. I'll have to circle back on that one. I didn't know you were going to ask me an actual science question. Sorry. Okay. Oh, boy. Here we go. These came on the scene with the evolution of the first amniotes many millions of years ago. Okay? Prior to their arrival, most animals relied on water for reproduction, laying their eggs in ponds and other, because they know this shit. They know this. They know how this happened, right? You think they would, right? They're talking about it like they know. Like there's maybe fossil eggs, right? Is that how we know? Like it's fossil eggs, that they found the fossil eggs, they saw these things, right? Most animals relied on water for reproduction, laying their eggs in ponds and other moist environments so that the eggs didn't dry out. At some point, a different kind of egg began to evolve, which had 3 extra membranes inside: the chorion, the chorion, the amnion, and the allantois. Each membrane has a slightly different function, but the addition of all these extra layers provide a conveniently enclosed. The word is convenient. The word is convenient. Yeah, it is convenient. It's very convenient. A conveniently enclosed, all-in-one life support system. An embryo can take in stored nutrients, store excess waste products, and respire and breathe at respiration without the need of an external aquatic environment. Okay? The extra fluids encased in the amnion plus the tough outer shell provide extra protection too. So remember that whole thing about how ejecting matter into the water was a bad idea? Especially when the matter can't possibly live because it has no way to breathe or have nutrients. So it was really a bad idea. Like it didn't work at all. Like it's total bullshit. Okay? This gets better though, because they're talking as, what does it say in the Bible? As one that has authority. They're talking as one that has authority, right? Amniotic eggs were a big deal. Yes, they were. They opened up a whole new world of opportunities for land-based egg-laying locations. And the extra, okay, so do you understand that we're this far in and they haven't said a single scientific word other than explaining what's inside of here? Yeah, this is what's in an egg, by the way. You see that? Air pocket, that's where your respiration is. There's the embryo, there's the amnion, there's the fluid, the sac, the whole thing. That's the only thing science they're doing. And that's the whole trick, you guys, to the magician. Are you ready? This is the whole trick to the magician of the scientist. That's science. That is science. This rest of this is belief. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? All of you. Allison, John, everyone, listen to me. And John and Allison, you guys got to get along. Stop it. Seriously, time out. Be good. I'll mediate this in a minute, okay? This is science. This is science. This is religion. Can you see the difference? Science, this is the only thing scientific they've said. Religion. And I would do the exact same thing. And I would say, and on the fourth day, third day, whatever day, fourth day, whatever, it was the fifth day, God created the fowls of the air. A super omniscient intellect with all power, an omnipotent, omniscient, all-powerful, brilliant creator made an egg and a bird. Because we haven't even talked about how a bird flies and the biomedics and how they have to have basically titanium bones, the lightest bone ever. And that's not titanium, but we use titanium because it's the strongest, lightest thing we could have. But the bones to fly and it's aerodynamic and the whole 9 yards, okay? This whole other thing is all their belief system. This is their sleight of hand. There's the actual mechanism. That's the science, and the rest of it is sleight of hand. Okay? I'm going to read it again so you guys can see this, because we're about to get to the science that they actually have, okay? Thankfully, there's no need to keep brooding over this forever. This is a riddle that we can unscramble with the tools of science. More specifically, the principles of evolutionary biology. Eggs are found throughout the animal kingdom. Technically speaking, they're very simple. They're very simple. But let's focus on the type of bird eggs we recognize. At some point, a different egg began to evolve, which had extra membranes inside. And each additional membrane had a slightly different function, but the addition of all these extra layers provided conveniently enclosed all-in-one life support system. They've gone from 1 to 100 and not explained anything in the middle. This is where they get their nutrients. This is where they respire. This is where all of the fluids are, whatever. Okay? Amniotics were a big deal. You ready for this? This is their science. Are you ready? Please tell me you're listening. I'll send everybody this article. I'll put it up on Discord. I think I may have already. We're still not sure of exactly when this happened. You ready? You ready to see that the emperor has no closed? Largely because eggy membranes don't make very good fossils. Okay? What that means is that they have no record. They have no actual record of anything they're claiming. Nothing. It's all a story. You ready? We're still not sure exactly how this happened, largely because eggy membranes don't make very good fossils. Leaving scientists with no clear record of when or how amniotic eggs developed. I rest my case, and I fucking won. I'm done. It's done. The judge made it's done. Evolution is dead. It's absolutely dead. It's kept on life support by the mind-controlled, brain-dead slaves of the priest of the religion of science. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And all they're telling you is what they believe. And if you believe what they say over the Bible, you need to check yourself. You need to get in your heart and you need to get on your knees and you need to ask God why you believe their bullshit over the living word of God. They've got nothing. And it's the whole thing. You guys, I'm talking about eggs. Every single thing they have ever done is just this same thing. It's a smidge of science wrapped around a narrative of anti-God education, instruction, science. And it's because they hate God. It's because they hate God. It's because in their hubris, they can't even entertain the idea that a chicken showed up one day. They can't even entertain that idea. They are so filled with anti-God fervor that they can't even imagine a chicken showing up one day. Because that would mean that there's a designer for the chicken. Because a chicken doesn't show up out of nowhere. And if a chicken showed up, something designed it. And if something designed it, there's a God and they're in big trouble. I'm done. I'm done with them. At this point, I should have mercy. I should have mercy on them. But I'm not going to. Because there's more to this. Our best guess. These are the words. These are the words. Our best guess is that the last common ancestor of both tetrapods and ammonites lived around 370 to 340 million years ago. Just a guess. Thank you, Effective. God bless you. The first chickens. Are you guys ready for this? I understand that we won the court case. They're done. They're done. They're done. They're absolutely done. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. But I want you to see that not only do they lie and are just telling this story, they can't even keep their story straight. You know when you tell a lie and you can't remember what you said, and so you make a lie to cover the lie, and then at one point your lies don't mix, they don't work, they don't mesh together? You know that whole thing? I know that whole thing. I used to be a liar. Well, I hate to say it that way, but I guess I used to be a liar. Before I understood that lying was bad, I've been in that situation. I've lied to tell a lie, to tell a lie, to tell a lie, to tell a lie. You just don't do that. You're always going to get caught. You ready? Here's them getting caught in their own lies. The very first chicken in existence would have been the result of a genetic mutation. Okay, that's a pretty empirical statement, right? The very first chicken in existence would have been the result of a genetic mutation taking place in a zygote produced by two almost chickens, or proto-chickens. This means two proto-chickens mated, combining their DNA to form the very first cell of the very first chicken. Okay? Somewhere along the lines, thank you, Mitchell, somewhere along the lines, genetic mutations occurred in that very first cell. Okay, back to what they can prove. You think they actually have any kind of evidence for anything that I've just told you? The very first chicken in existence would have been the result of a genetic mutation. That's their guess. Taking place in a zygote produced by two almost chickens. Also a guess. This means that two proto-chickens, this means that two proto-chickens mated, guess, combining their DNA together to form the very first cell of the very first chicken. Guess. None of this is Babel. You can't prove any of this. Somewhere along this imaginary line, genetic mutations occurred in that very first cell, guess, and those mutations copied themselves into every other body cell as the chicken embryo grew. The result, the first true chicken. The result, total fairy tale. Okay? Back to our original question, with amniotic AIDS showing up roughly 340 million or so years ago, and the first chickens evolving at around 58,000 years ago, it's a safe bet to say the egg came first. Settled science, right? Watch this. But wait, wasn't there some scientist who claimed that in fact the chicken came first? This claim came from some researchers studying how chicken eggshells formed. Eggshell is mostly made of calcium carbonate, CaCO. Hens get their supply of calcium for eggshell production from dietary sources, calcium-rich seafood shells, such as oysters or prawn shells, a popular snack for backyard hens. To form a shell, you ready for this? You guys ready for the second? I mean, they're already in trouble. I guess this is the sentence. We already won the verdict. Here's the sentence. You ready? To form a shell, the calcium needs to be deposited in the form of CaCO3 crystals, and hens rely on specific proteins that enable this process. One such protein, called ovoclidin 17, or OC17 for short, is only found in the ovary of a chicken, leading to the suggestion that the chicken must have come before the chicken egg, since without OC17 there can be no chicken egg formation. Now they've got a big problem. They just said over and over that they've unscrambled this using science. And with absolutely no science. They just, oh no, it says that. This is the article. I'll flip it around. Here we go. This claim comes from researchers studying how chicken eggs are formed. To form a shell, the calcium needs to be deposited in the form of the, this is so backwards for me, the CaCO crystals, and hens rely on specific proteins that enable this. This is the same article. One such protein, called ovoclidin 17, or OC17 for short, is only found in the ovary of a chicken, leading to the suggestion that the chicken must have come before the chicken egg, since without OC17 there can be no chicken egg formation. Should I go back? I'm going to read this last thing and then I'm going to close for now, okay? And get to mediating this discussion. Back to our original question, that we discovered this through science, that we've unscrambled this egg. Ready? With amniotic eggs showing up roughly 340 million years ago, which they have no record of because they make a really bad fossil. And the first chickens evolving at around 58,000 years ago, it's a safe bet. Listen to this logic. Back to our original question, with amniotic eggs showing up 340 million years ago and chickens showing up 58,000 years ago, it's a safe bet to say the egg came first. Although, you can't have an egg without a chicken ovary. You have to have the calcium of the chicken ovary in the egg. You can't have it. So the chicken came first. So this is my point. They're actually going to lie to you, okay? They're going to lie to you about everything. The Bible's going to say chicken. They're going to say egg. Do you see what I'm saying? They're going to say, if the Bible says chicken, they're going to say egg. This is how much they hate God. This is how filled with anti-God, lying, counterfeit, satanic fervor they have. If God says he made a chicken, the system is going to say they made an egg, which is why, Allison, I cannot let you believe in this anymore. You cannot believe in this anymore. And if you want to, bring me your best evidence. I have this discussion with non-believers, not God-fearing, Torah-observant people. If you want to bring me your best evidence for why you defend this, I'm all yours, sister. But I'm telling you right now, you are believing a lie by the group that hates God. Okay? Did you guys get a chance to watch the video I just made? Echo. So cool. going to go on eternally. Cool, 208 views. That's exciting.
What if I told you that we actually have no idea how old the universe is, and it may even be a lot younger than...
Watch this video real quick, and then we're going to talk about it. 208 views.
Idea how old the universe is, and it may even be a lot younger than what we've been taught. Wait, stick with me for a second. I'll show you what I mean. This is serious. I mean, it's not that serious, but this is definitely serious. Sirius B, which is the brightest star in the sky, it's a white dwarf star, but it wasn't always. Now look at this. Sirius was observed in antiquity as a red star. In 140 AD, Ptolemy described the star as fiery red, while in 25 AD, Seneca said that it was even a deeper red than Mars. So how did it go from red to white? Apparently this happens. Red giants turn into white dwarfs. So where's the problem, you ask? This red giant to white dwarf deal takes an estimated 400 million years, not 2,000. So what do you think happened? What if I told you that...
I researched this for hours today, and it's legitimate. In history, the planet Sirius was red. They all said it was red. Thank you. It was red. 2,000 years ago, Ptolemy, a very respected historian, astrophysicist, if you even would. It's white now. It's white. It went from red to white, which happens. This is why I believe in a lot of the cosmologic scenarios, but that we're taught. Obviously not the time frame and some other things, but it turns from red to white. And it's a process that takes 400 million years. A red giant can turn into a white dwarf, and it takes 400 million years. And this happened in the last 2,000 years. And they can't figure it out. And so you'll never guess what science is doing. Freaking out, trying to figure out how to fit in their worldview. And I could show you that. I'm going to mediate a little bit, but it's the same thing. People saying that Ptolemy didn't know what he was talking about. People saying that it's a misinterpretation. Anything but we were wrong about the time frame. We don't know what's going on, because then they're going to lose their authority. But okay. So I've seen some fighting in here. Let me see if I can deconstruct this here. What happened? What went wrong? Because you guys, seriously, if we're fighting, we got no chance. And we can disagree. We can challenge each other like I've been doing tonight. You can't believe that. You can't whatever. Cool. Allison can disagree and say, I believe it. And she can say, this is my best evidence. And I can be fair. And she can say, this is why. And we can have a discussion. But we can't attack each other. And whatever else is going on in here. What else happened in here? There you go, reading a translation of the first separation, second space value. If you meet me in person, you would be so rude, not godly. You win. Okay. Yeah, no, whatever. It's fighting. Standard fighting. We can't fight. Romans called the end of the summer the dog days. Okay, I'll talk about dog days. It bums me out that we're fighting. I don't want to do that. I know that I was fired up, but I just can't. I'm not mad at you, Allison. I'm mad at the lie. I'm mad at evolution. I'm mad at the scientists. I'm mad at people doubting God. And I'm passionate with you because you believe in God very much. You believe in the Torah. And I'm surprised that you believe in evolution. And I'll watch Gerald Schroeder. I'll try and get a feel for where you're coming from. But to me, it's being in Babylon. It's, what did the Jews do when they were in Egypt? They left Sinai and Moses was on the mountain and Moses came down and they were doing their Egyptian thing. They were doing their Egyptian sacrifice, the thing that they had learned in Egypt. And in my opinion, this version of science, this anti-Torah, anti-God version of science is Babylonian. It's Egyptian. It's pagan. It's worldly. It's earth worship. It's man worship. It's not worshiping the Creator. And it's not taking the Bible literally. That's why I get fired up about it. So that's my take. But we'll have to talk about it outside here. Hello, Steph. Good to see you, girl. I'm mad with you. Amen. I thought you were going to say you're mad at me, but yeah, I'm mad with you. Okay. So, now that I've kind of said nothing important there, I mean, I think it's important, but I'm not going to try and figure out the situation with the fighting. But I want to show you guys this really wild thing that I came across today in researching this serious deal. I'm seriously upset that it only has 200 views. I don't know. I don't ever know how these work. Whatever. Okay. Give me a second to figure out which one I want to look at. That's not it, but that still is interesting. Okay. This is actually everybody, thank you for the gifts tonight. I appreciate it. So this is a platform that is sponsored by NASA and the Smithsonian and the Center for Astrophysics at Harvard and Smithsonian, okay? This isn't some 2-bit deal. It's called Surprising Rapid Collapse of Sirius B from Red Giant to White Dwarf Through Mass Transfer to Sirius A. Sirius was observed in antiquity as a red star in his famous astronomy book. This is actually an astronomy textbook. Thank you for the gift. The Almagest written. Okay, so this is Ptolemy's book called the Almagest or Almagest, written in 140 AD. This is an astronomy textbook, okay? This is a guy who is very respected by the astronomy community. In 140 AD, he depicted Sirius as one of 6 red-colored stars. Apparently, confirmation in ancient Greek and Roman sources are found, and Sirius was also reported red in Europe about 1400 years ago. Sirius must have changed to a white dwarf. And this is where it got weird. I didn't expect this. You ready? In the night of ascension. I didn't expect this. I hope Allison's here for this. The star chapter in the Quran started with, by the star as it collapsed. Your companion have not gone astray nor being misled. And in verse 49, which is the rotation period of the companion Sirius B around Sirius A, it is said, He is the Lord of Sirius. So this person went from talking about astrophysics to what the Quran says. And the Quran says about Sirius that the star collapsed. Your companion may not have gone astray or been misled, which is the rotation period of Sirius B around Sirius A. It is said he is the Lord of Sirius. So the Quran says that this happened pretty much. Which is kind of crazy, right? How would the Quran know about this? Does anybody know where I'm going with this? He is the Lord of Sirius. So the Lord of Sirius is talking about the star collapsing and these other things. So apparently Allah is the Lord of Sirius? Remember Lord. We have to be careful with that word Lord, because it means master, or who you worship, basically. So like Hashem, Father, Yeshua, Yahweh. So apparently, this was talked about in the Quran. And apparently Allah is the Lord of Sirius. Wait till you see this. Lucifer, an advanced spiritual being, came to Earth from Sirius. Sirius glitters in our lodges as the blazing star. The blazing star is somehow to be identified with Lucifer. Lucifer represents the black sun or Sirius. Well, if you want to know who wrote the Quran, I just got like a notification that I was right. Did you hear that? What was that? What do you think about that, you guys? This red star to white star thing that happened 1,200 years ago was talked about in the Quran. Which means that the writer of the Quran knew about this. Why so serious? I know I'm making a serious joke. I know. It's crazy, right, Frank? I'm glad you appreciate it. I found this out today. I was texting with Mitch. I was freaking out. I mean, I'm freaking out already because they're lying about the stars. They're lying about all of it. They're lying about all of it. It's 140 million years for this to happen, and it happened in the last 100 or 1,500 years. In the last 1,500 years, they're totally wrong. They missed it by 1,000,000 times. And I already know, I've researched Sirius the dog star. I mean, White Pill mentioned that. I know about, Satan and the ancient mystery religions talking about this. The reason I showed that text is I Googled it. Lucifer is Sirius. I knew that. In the Quran, it says that Sirius. So somehow Lucifer has something to do with Sirius. I don't know. Something. He hangs out on Sirius. He's flying in on UFOs from Sirius. It's his home base. Something. And it went from red to white. Who knows what that means? I'm having like a goosebumps thinking about that. Maybe something. What if something happened that caused it to go from red to white? Something spiritual. What if Lucifer did something? I don't know. That's too much. When he left, it turned white. That's what I was thinking, Bethany. I mean, red to white, right? I'm not sure where it is out there. It's crazy though. But the fact that the Quran says that that Allah is the Lord of Sirius, like we're done. We know now. Like I've said to people, I'm either right or I'm wrong, right? And if I'm right, I'm right. We're right about this stuff. And what I've said to people is I'm obviously willing to say that I'm wrong because I don't know. I could be wrong. But if at this point all there really is as far as major religions is Judeo-Christian, Muslim, and atheist. That's all there is. There's Buddhism, but Buddhism is just a practice of a way of life. There's some Indians, Hamarabada, whatever that's called. There's some people that still do that, but that's, I mean, we get made fun of for our sky god. That thing's going away. It's gone. It's on fumes. So it's done. And it's all fallen angels anyways. But we're very quickly, because atheist is non-affiliated, or Luciferian, whatever. There's basically God and Allah. And it says right in their book that Allah is the Lord of Sirius. And the Freemasons know that Satan and Lucifer is totally combined with. Yeah, that's actually Venus. There's a whole teaching on that, Mitchell, but that's Venus, which is the morning star. But I didn't have the mindset to like really dig into it, but there's a reason why Lucifer is attributed to the morning star and also Sirius, and it's all occult and multi-level and whatever else. But oh, Steph, you can't miss the live. This whole thing has been good. I might post it on YouTube. I don't know. Cut out all the infighting. The mind-blowing thing, Steph, is that it's so hard out of context. Did you see the red and the white dwarf star, the red giant turning into a white dwarf, and the time frame and all of that? Did you see all of that? So confused. I thought Satan was Saturn. Yep, Satan has a relation to Saturn too, and I've heard he has a base on Saturn. So whatever. He's got multiple heavenly bodies, I guess, that he hangs out at. I don't know how it works. I know when I heard about the Sirius thing, there's a series of videos by a filmmaker named Chris Pinto that absolutely formed my worldview. Secrets in Stone, The Secret Histories of America's Beginnings. That was 15 years ago now, and I still reference it a lot. But that's where I heard about Sirius, the dog star, and all that. Okay. So what happens, Steph, is that in this article that I'm reading, which is from NASA, Smithsonian, Harvard Astrophysics, that the article is Surprising Rapid Collapse of Sirius B from Red Giant to White Dwarf Through Mass Transfer of Sirius A. Sirius was observed in antiquity as a red star, yada, yada, yada. The guy says here, the star chapter in the Quran started with, by the star as it collapsed, your companion have not gone astray nor being misled. And in verse 49, which is the rotation period of the companion Sirius B around Sirius A, it is said that he is the Lord of Sirius. And so in this article, apparently the Quran talks about Sirius and this happening, and that Allah is the Lord of Sirius. The Quran talks about this happening. They saw it happen somehow. The Quran, the author of the Quran was aware of this. Okay? And he calls Allah the Lord of Sirius. And if you do a quick research on Lucifer and Sirius, Lucifer, an advanced spiritual being, came to the earth from Sirius. Sirius mystery, the supreme Sirius glitters in our lodges as the blazing star. The blazing star is somehow to be identified with Lucifer. Lucifer represents the black sun or Sirius. Sweet. That's my wall. Okay. So, Allah is the Lord of Sirius. And Lucifer is the Lord of Sirius. So we know who Allah is. Not that that's a big surprise with everything going on in Afghanistan and killing all the Jews and killing all the Christians. But the fact that the Quran talks about this red to white shift and says that that's where Allah is, I mean, it's pretty close to evidence. So, okay. Well, that's that. So, chicken and the egg and Sirius and Satan. There you go. You're going to make an Allah video. Are we following each other, Johnny? Let me follow you, buddy. Awesome. Johnny, let me know if you would want to do, like, I have this dream of doing, like, a collab video where, like, you know, like, and now I hand it over to Voice of Reasons, or I hand it over to Johnny Righteous, or whatever, and, like, you know, sharing our viewers by doing that. So if we can think of a way to do it, I just followed you. Let's talk about it. Or we don't have to, but it's crazy information either way. I appreciate you being here tonight, man. Yep, serious. Allah means curse. Kaaba means cube. Kabbalah is the cube curse. Interesting. Allah equals loose. Yeah, exactly, Steph. That's exactly it. I'm trying not to say it as I don't want to have any troubles. But yeah, if the author of the Quran saw the Sirius collapse and knew about it and claims to be the Lord of Sirius, and the occult people and the Freemasons and the Luciferians say that Lucifer is from Sirius and is the god of Sirius, what does that mean? We have astrophysical, historical corroboration. Like, that's it. We know what it is now. We know who's who. We got it. Thanks, Sirius. Some serious stuff. You're confused effective? That means I wasn't effective. Sorry. I'll be back on my live. I'll be back on the live tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry, Kamesi. I might post it on my YouTube. I probably will. Unfortunately, there's a lot of like interaction going back and forth, so I might have to try and cut that, which I can't stand watching myself. I can't look at my face. But if you're not following me on YouTube, please do that. Because I'll repost this potentially. So all you got to do is click on my profile up there, and then click on this here, the link tree deal right there. Click on that. And then in here is a bunch of different things you can do. Website, that's where you can buy the merch, like the Conspiracy Theorist shirt and the Priest of Science shirt. Discord is our Discord group. $5 a month gets you everything that we have. There's a free version as well. Patreon is where how you get the $5 on Discord. Odyssey, I don't know what that is. Podcast, I put some of these on Podbean. YouTube, click on YouTube. And then I'm posting. There's a horse. 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 Okay, yeah, that's my Voice of Reasons thing. So if you would subscribe, please. We're up to 355 because YouTube hates me. But I post some of these lives on there. And there's also a horse video. I don't know what that's doing. So that's the other thing we were watching. Oh, let's finish with that, by the way. So much to study. Awesome. Red pill's here. Red pill. How much of this have you heard, Red Pill? I didn't see that you came here. I thought about you with this study. Dude. Allah, no bueno. Odyssey is us not relying on YouTube. Oh, okay. See? That's why here. The name of the video that I'm playing, and I can post this on Discord, it's called Scientist... You're not going to believe me. I'll just let you read it. Here we go. I posted it on Discord too. It's called Scientists Now Know Which Came First, the Chicken or the Egg. That's what the video is called. And by the way, we're going to finish that, and then I'm going to be done for the night. All right, you ready?
So you were wondering, mammals traded egg-laying for the ability to carry their young to term inside their bodies. And some believe that it was predatory pressure by dinosaurs that actually developed this behavior. Platypus, on the other hand, told Mother Nature in common...
Holy Moses, I didn't even realize that. Did you see that? Mammals traded this because of pressure from dinosaurs. This is what they say. This is what they say. Mammals trade... Oh, boy.
Prefer six-armed life. At some point, though, animals needed to protect their young, and it turns out that ejecting masses of living tissue into the environment to fend for itself wasn't quite working out. So animals began to slowly evolve protective layers around their undeveloped young, and those who did flourished, while those who didn't died off. In case you were wondering, mammals traded egg-laying for the ability to carry their young to term inside their bodies, and...
I can't even, you guys. I can't even. In case you were wondering, mammals traded their ability. The word in the Mad Libs evolution nonsense was traded. Traded. That was the word. You guys, we're going to have to play Mad Libs evolution one night. And we're just going to put in the word. What's the word? What's the descriptor? Exchanged. No, we've used that one. Benefited from? How about benefited from? Great. Benefited from. Yep. Benefited from. In case you were wondering, I was wondering. Thanks for clearing that up. Thanks, yeah. I was wondering. Oh, cool. Pressure from dinosaurs. Like dinosaur pressure. Dinosaur pressure is the word. Traded. Dinosaur pressure. Oh, man.
But the fun thing about evolution is that
the fun thing about evolution.
You go. So
watch the magician. Watch his hands.
Conditions that for some reason prefer six-armed life. At some point, though, animals needed to protect their young, and it turns out that ejecting masses of living tissue into the environment to fend for itself wasn't quite working out. So animals began to slowly evolve protective layers around their undeveloped young, and those who did flourished, while those who didn't died off. In case you were wondering, mammals traded egg-laying for the ability to carry their young to term inside their bodies, and some believe that it was predatory pressure by dinosaurs that actually developed this behavior. Platypus, on the other hand, told...
Oh my goodness. I could do this all night. The word was behavior. Behavior. Did you guys get that? They traded this behavior. Why don't we do the thought experiment thing I was talking about earlier? And why don't we think about the intermediary steps of this thing? Of this behavior. Let's just imagine how this happens. How does this happen? Grow a womb, an umbilical cord, shed the egg. It's a behavior. I don't feel like doing that. You know what I'd like to see man do? Is trade birthing through your vagina. I guess man's gonna do that for eggs. Let's just switch behaviors. Let's just go from the human reproduction system of semen, ovary, egg. And we'll just go ahead and lay eggs again. Let's just trade for that behavior. How's that going to start? You know how we start? We eject our living tissue on the ground for like 1 billion years. And then an egg happens. Just got to keep ejecting it, you guys. Women. This whole baby in the womb thing, you're just stifling the behavior of evolution. You just got to get the baby on the ground. And if you do that enough times, eventually an egg will happen. We'll just do this thing in reverse. We'll just back this thing back up. We'll just go back, and eventually the babies that came out and ejected the tissue will eventually evolve eggs. Because that's how it works. That's how it works. This is how we do it. I didn't even notice that earlier. The trading the behavior. Trade this behavior. Watch this. Here we go.
Mother Nature and common sense to piss off and just did their own thing.
Oh.
About 230 million years ago, a group of dinosaurs known as theropods flourished on the Earth, and it's from those dinos that we would get the mighty T-Rex and the humble chicken of today. Today we eat chicken on a daily basis and think nothing of rolling the meat of dead chickens in the yolk of their unborn children before tossing them into a fryer for a delicious snack. But 70 million years ago, a chicken's ancestors would have made you into a meal with one bite. 50 million years ago, though, we have wild jungle birds roaming through the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. And just a few million years after that, we get what would be considered the first true chicken. Thanks to evolution, we know that the egg definitely came before the chicken. Over time, those genetic mutations were passed.
Thanks to evolution. Remember when they covered that earlier? When they showed you scientifically the evolution thing? They just got to reinforce that in there. Thanks to evolution. Thanks to evolution. I'm trying to get somewhere. Just let me get this done here.
Down and reinforced by a growing pool of bird mutants with the same genetic quirks. And after a whole lot of mommy birds loving daddy birds, we get a full-blown chicken. The real question, though, isn't if the chicken or the egg came first, as any evolutionary biologist would be able to easily answer it, just like we did.
That's it. Can't do it. Can't do it. You guys can't make me do this. You can't. This is just, I can't do it. You may not have heard that. Did you hear that?
Considered the first true chicken. Thanks to evolution, we know that the egg definitely came before the chicken. Over time, those genetic mutations were passed down and reinforced by a growing pool of bird mutants with the same genetic quirks. And after a whole lot of mommy birds loving daddy birds, we get a full-blown chicken. The real question, though, isn't if the chicken or the egg came first, as any evolutionary biologist would be able to easily answer it, just like we did, though definitely in a far less entertaining manner.
Do I even have to say anything? Any evolutionary biologist can easily answer this, just like we did. Any evolutionary biologist would easily be able to answer this, just like we did. Did anybody catch anywhere in there? Whatever, it doesn't matter. So simple when you make it up as you go. It is, yeah. It's really easy. Yeah. Okay, here we go. There's actually something I wanted to show you here. I mean, I want to show you all of this, but
For science, the real question is which came first, egg-laying dinosaurs or the egg? Sadly, investigating our own ancient past is not easy. With so many geologic changes and catastrophes from comet and asteroid strikes to supervolcano explosions and mega tsunamis, plus regular weathering of the environment, trying to learn about the Earth's ancient history has been described as watching a movie where most of the frames are missing. It's impossible to ever see the full film, but you can hopefully gather enough of those missing frames to understand the cliff notes of what happened. Science has been pretty good about doing just that, though some scientists estimate that we are likely unaware of about 98% of even large animals that ever existed. Was there a more badass dinosaur than T-Rex? Well, yeah, there was. It was called the Spinosaurus. But was there an even more badass dinosaur than...
Do you remember in the other article where I showed you that sadly we don't have a record of this because eggy membranes don't make good fossils? They're making this entire thing up. This is entirely made up because there's no actual record. Can you understand that? This is what I'm closing on tonight. They have no idea what happened. We all believe something. We all believe something. They have no record. They have no record. They have a belief system. They have a worldview. They have what they believe. And they manipulate the data to fit their belief. And sadly, you're never going to be able to actually look at it. You're not going to be able to fact check them. You're not going to be able to prove them. You're not going to be able to hold them accountable. They have the platform. They're in control and they make the fucking rules. Okay? That's what it is. They're going to tell you what you can believe. They're going to tell you what you can believe. Doesn't matter if it's based in science, if it's just a fairy tale. Evolution does funny things. This happened, we don't know. We'll never be able to look at it. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. And do not take it any longer. Decree from the mountaintops. I believe in God. I believe that science supports God because it does. I believe in the Bible. I believe in the timeline of the Bible. I believe in the flood. Prove the Bible wrong. And I'm working from the position that I can trust the Bible. And you're all full of shit. And everything you do is smoke and mirrors. And you're of your father, the devil. That should go well.